Okay. Hello po, maraming salamat for tuning in. Again, this is the month of May, which is the Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month celebration here in the USA. And I'm still doing this leadership speaker series for the second year na in a row. I'm so excited for this topic because it will be my first time to interview someone who have the same common um, university where I came from, and that will be like shared later on. But for now, I wanted to share po muna kung ano itong leadership speaker series that I am doing for those that are not familiar of why I'm doing this. So we this leadership speaker series, mostly the people that I've interviewed are based in the Philippines, and I am here in the USA. But today we are both in the USA, but we also both came from the Philippines. So
Yes.
that is the essence of this one. No, the project purpose, it's an annual leadership series that I started last year, and I'm continuing in here in 2026 to highlight mga accomplished leaders driving community development and people empowerment through monthly interviews. So ito yung year-long initiative, aims to inspire action, share mga best practices, and equip audiences with practical insights to foster collaboration and create meaningful impact. So hindi lang kung ano-ano ang ginagawa, merong meaningful na impact. So ano yung mga objectives? So again, as I said, I wanted to reiterate, it's to inspire action, highlight mga best practices, foster collaboration, empower communities, and of course, we have to celebrate leadership. And in whatever capacity that you are taking on that leadership role, then that is fine. Because it is not always that you have to be the top of the ladder to exercise leadership. Leadership is not the position. It is the action that you do. So, speaking of leadership, I am very much honored and privileged to know this very skilled, talented, innovative young woman who happens to have a commonality, again, coming from the same institution where I spent 4 years of my college life from the University of the Philippines. So her name is Kristel Silang, parang like Gabriela Silang. And she is the co-founder of the OFW, Overseas Filipino Workers Georgia Foundation, Inc. For this topic, we are going to deal on this theme, from digital strategy to community impact and empowering the AAPI, or Asian American Pacific Islander Voices, and immigrant leadership in the USA. So I wanted to give the floor now to Miss Kristel so that she could share more about herself, her background, her story, where she's coming from in the Philippines, how she got here in the USA, what are the motivations that inspired her to come to this country, and these kinds of things. Yes, Kristel.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Arjo, for having me in this interview. And for everybody watching, my name is Kristel Silang. I am a BA Communications Arts major from the University of the Philippines, Los Banos, where Arjo mentioned that we're both from the same university. Mga kaiska. Sa mga kaiska na nanonood, hello sa inyo.
Pero
And
pinakamalapit ka sa entrance and all of the admin
yes,
offices and the park, which
yeah,
is
sa may
now
oblation.
revitalized.
Oo, sa may oblation. And also, I'm also a Batangueña. Buong
Mm.
buhay ko, I grew up in Batangas City with my family. And after graduating from UPLB, I worked in digital marketing in Manila for 6 years before moving to the US in 2017. And
So, when ka sa UPLB? At what years ka na sa UPLB ka?
oh my God, magkakaalaman ng ano ng edad. 2000 2007 to 2011.
Oh my gosh, I am way ahead you then. I was there 1996 to 2000. So when you just started, I got out of the university.
Yeah, young at heart pa rin. Wait.
Ah, young at heart. Wow, that is fantastic. Well, we pretty much know what that look of the university is, but there's so much improvement as of now. And I had been to Batangas. I had been to Batangas, and it's a beautiful place. So for that exposure of yours, hindi ka na nag-masters ng UPLB. You got out after college.
Yes.
Did you
So,
stay in the dorm?
I stayed in a private dorm sa loob ng school.
Ano
Malapit sa
yun?
entrance. Chime. I don't know if it was there when you started Chime. Chime
Chime.
Residences.
Okay, hindi, no, hindi.
Nandun siya sa may Carabao. Malapit sa Depco.
Malapit sa okay,
Yeah.
marami ng mga pagbabago eh. I'm a women's residence hall lady
Wow,
for
nice.
3.5 years. And then I
Mm,
think on the last semester ng fourth year ko, I moved out and then
mm.
led ministry group na Lakas Angkan Ministry. It's one
Oh,
of
nice.
those, yeah, so I'm part of the Lakas Angkan Ministry when I was in college. One of
Mm.
those campus ministries that
Oh,
are
nice.
very much engaged in the in campus, and of course the front of the DL O'Malley Hall,
Oh, yes,
the
yes.
front of the women's
Freedom
residence
Park.
is our area meeting place,
Mm,
and everybody's common place. So that's why I've said, like, I'm so excited to get to know, because you're the first one from UPLB
mm.
na I get to know here now, with such an amazing, like, trailblazing experiences. So
Yeah.
are you panganay or middle?
Yeah, yes, I'm panganay. I have two younger sisters.
Mhm. Ikaw lang ang
And
nandito sa US?
no, my whole family's back in the Philippines. I'm alone here in Georgia. Yes.
Oh, so is Georgia your first state, or you've been to other states before you were here in Georgia?
So from 2017 to 2021, I lived in Michigan when I
Mhm.
first moved to the US, and then I moved to Georgia in 2022.
How do you
So
like
just I've
Georgia?
just been here for 4 years.
So how do you like Georgia?
I love it so much. It's warm during Christmas. The snow is not there. The people are great. Southern hospitality is such a big thing. And also, there's a lot more Filipino community here, which I really appreciate.
Wow. So have you been back to the Philippines since you got here?
I think the first time I went back was in 2023, and because it was my youngest sister's graduation from UST, and then I'm
Mhm.
actually going back next year in April.
Wow. Very good for you then. Very good for you. Wow. Well, as I shared earlier, we have another common friend that I first came to know you and your name
Hmm.
because of Miss Jane Rowland, who
Yes.
is a Georgia Asian Times podcaster, and then she mentioned, oh my god, Arjo, I have this lady that I interviewed and blah blah blah, and she's from UPLB, and I told her about you and everything. But I've
Yeah.
known Miss Jane since 2007,
Oh, wow.
and we've been part of the Galing Foundation, the first foundation I was part here, and then we partnered in so many things, and we are both volunteers of the Philippine Honorary Consulate Office. So we collaborate a whole lot. And actually, the Georgia Asian Times podcast, kaming
Mm.
dalawa yan ang in-invite ni Mr. Lee Wong.
Oh,
But then when I
wow.
look at the schedule and my availability and the demands of the podcast, I
Mm-hmm.
told Miss Jane, I simply can't. That's the thing
Mm-hmm.
with me. Like, I have, even if I love the initiative and I really can contribute, but you have to be responsible enough to know your limitations. So
Yes, I
my
agree.
limitations, I have so many limitations because I have so many other top priorities first, and hindi ko siya, at sabi ko, two of us in this limited time is going to be crowd already,
Mm-hmm.
plus the other person. So it doesn't make sense, kumbaga. So sabi ko, if you're really passionate about it, then you can do it. And she's been doing it. She's been the most consistent.
Yes.
It takes a whole lot of commitment in doing this.
Yeah, actually,
Mhm.
the reason why I got on this podcast is because I emailed Georgia Asian Times when
Mm.
I was with my civic leadership program. I was finding ways to fundraise because I'm so new to the state and then I needed to make money. So I'm
Uh-huh.
like, how do I reach all the Filipinos in the state? And I found Usapang Pinoy and they said, yeah, we can interview you. And then when I looked up her profile before my interview, I was very clueless
Mm.
who Jane Rowland was. And I looked at him, I'm like, oh my God, like she's such a heavy hitter in the Filipino community.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have
and
served like
I,
three
yeah,
terms at least as president of PAGCA.
yeah,
Galing
yeah.
Foundation. She's my
Hmm.
fellow board member and
Hmm.
director, doing like a whole lot of projects and everything. And
Hmm.
she is also, you have to be inspired by her
Yeah,
because
definitely.
she is one of those persons that age does not define her and the
Yes.
things that she wanted to do. So when she said that, and I was able to really like, oh my goodness, I wanted to be engaged. And then, and then I'm so happy that you both have come together. And then guess what you did afterwards? You took action, you took leadership,
Yeah.
and then you co-founded the serving, this OFW Georgia Inc. Foundation. I also know the how it's been since last year. She's been contemplating on doing something. So I'm one of those voices behind her on how to make it happen. I just did not committed to be part of the board kasi masyado na akong boarded. Ang dami na ako, bang ang dami mo ng board membership roles. You
Yes.
wanted to be responsible because these positions are not just positions. They require commitment,
Yes.
responsibility, and of course, resources. So let's
Hmm.
talk about the OFW Georgia Foundation. And I believe you have a making in the creation of this logo
Yes,
because of
yes.
your creativity and your
Yes.
uh, communication savviness and technology
Yes.
savviness.
Yes.
So, from your perspective, how did you come into brainstorming about the OFW Georgia Foundation Inc.?
Oh, so actually, like with the podcast interview that you mentioned earlier,
Mm-hmm.
they told me like, "Hey, we're gonna do the interview, but please don't drop the line after the interview. Can you
Uh-huh.
stay on because we wanted to discuss something with you?" So
Mm-hmm.
after the interview, they were like, "Hey, Crystal, like we feel that you have a really good profile and you fit the type of person that we're looking for in making a foundation that's dedicated to overseas Filipino workers." And
Mm-hmm.
I was so shocked, Arjo, because
Mm-hmm.
prior to my civic leadership program, I had no visibility in the community. Like I've just been volunteering quietly.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that co-founding something is such a big deal. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, but also in my heart, because my father himself was an overseas Filipino worker,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew the hardships that people go through
Mm-hmm.
when you start a life abroad. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
of course, of course I'll help you out.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is an immediate yes for me.
Mm-hmm.
And like after that conversation, we met in person first. So we didn't really brainstorm. We got to know each other. We got Miss Jane and and then we also talked about our motivations in helping the community, what gaps we think people need help with, the social isolation that most Filipinos feel in Georgia, because
Yeah.
unlike California, unlike New York, the communities are more tight
Mm-hmm.
knit. It's easier to reach anybody. But here in Georgia, you have to drive 2 hours to middle Georgia. Like for you to meet up, like even people within the city, it takes you an hour to drive to somebody. And it's really isolating if you are someone who just moved to another country. And these are the things
You
that
don't
we
have
discuss.
the means and or you know
Yes.
um this public transportation because some a whole lot of the communities are not readily accessible by public transportation.
Yes. Yes.
The public transportation are just on a hub or a major spots. Hindi kagaya sa atin na hindi kagaya sa UP na merong ikot jeepney.
Yeah. Yeah.
All around wala yun dito.
Yeah, yeah. And it's also like for me, like for example, me, I didn't know how to drive before moving to the US. How do you build credit when you move to the US? These are the things that a lot of Filipinos who move here need help with. Also with access to legal counsel. Because
Mhm.
I hate to say it, but in this time, like this is one of the most important resources that overseas Filipinos need to have here in the US. And
Skills.
this
Yep.
is a way for us to get in touch with lawyers who are in their hearts willing to help our fellow Filipinos in the state. So after, of course, we talked about all of this, and then
Mhm.
we needed to take action. And that's why me, Miss Jane, and Sarita
Mhm.
co-founded the Overseas Filipino Georgia Foundation. And
Mhm.
right now, since we only established this in February, we publicly announced it on Georgia Asian Times in March, and then
Mhm.
we had the foundation event launch on April, which
Yes.
Arjo thankfully attended. Thank you so much, Arjo. It's only been a little amount of time, and we are trying to build as much awareness about the foundation, because how can people help us if they don't know where we are, if they don't
Exactly.
know that we exist. And also at the same time, simultaneously we are trying to fundraise, because money talks. Like we can't help
Yes.
our fellow Filipinos in the state if we don't have the money to back it up.
Yes.
And yeah, like this picture, it really makes me happy, because we were afraid, like what if, you know how the Filipinos like to keep to themselves and they're mahiyain, like, oh, I don't know anybody in the event, I'm not gonna go, or I'm not sure if this is really, is this not a scam, but like a lot of people showed up, and these are people who mostly don't attend Filipino centric events. And I
Yes.
felt like these are the people looking for community, and I'm so glad they all came out. And also the Filipino allies, like of course
Yes.
we had people of other ethnicities, and
Mhm.
they were there to support us. So it
Yes.
was such a heartwarming event.
And also this Mr.
Ah, yeah,
Joy.
Mr. Lindo, yes.
Yes, Mr. Lindo was traveled. You know, when I first came there, because I've been in so many Filipino events, right?
Yes.
What I told Miss Jane, my Jane, I'm so happy because 80% of those people that I saw and met there, I have not seen them in so many other events that I have
Mm.
been. And these are people's like, where have they come from? I have not seen them. So
Mhm.
I don't know if there were hesitancy of coming out and be integrated in the kind of like mainstream na film community, how you were able to reach them. I've known some of my friends that I have not met for quite a long time,
Mhm.
and most of them are working in Buckhead and or in the hospitality business.
Mhm.
And I'm just so happy to see them. But 80% of those that showed up, I did not know them. Of course, I know Miss P, and then I know some of
Yeah.
the film community leaders. I'm so happy for Carlo and Mia, who are
Mhm.
part of the supporters of the team. They are really very grounded for
Yes.
everything that they're doing, and then their business and their heart towards humanity. I really applaud this too, and then the
Yes.
humility, no, in everything that they're trying to do. Attorney Suzette,
Mm.
it's so amazing. She was a little girl when I got here. And Kristel,
Wow.
by the way, yesterday, May 21, 2026, I am 20 years here in the USA.
Oh my gosh, congratulations, Arjo.
20 years. I'm
Oh
here
my.
in the USA for 20 years. And then I posted nga in my timeline as I was reflecting what are the major changes in those like 20 years. So I'm reflecting because when I came here, she's just like barely maybe a month old.
Yeah.
So, her mom, I've known her and her husband, Miss Menchu. She
Yes.
also like called me, and then I directed her to Miss Jane because she
Aw.
is one of our teachers that we honored before when I was part of the Galing Foundation.
Oh,
And
good.
then it is her passion now to have the teachers to have that kind of like group and belongingness. And there are so many overseas Filipino workers who are teachers,
Yes.
right? So that is so much. Look at this crowd. I'm telling you, I was very happy and proud. And then you've met Miss Tiffany. She is also a great advocate.
Yeah.
for civic engagement. Michelle, I've known them for some time. So you
Yes.
are in good hands with really getting to know a whole lot of you. These are my friends, really.
Yes.
These are my, you have so many other friends, but you have got some special friends that they're not always in the social limelight, but
Mm-hmm.
they're very grounded, like family wise.
Yes.
So they've seen me pregnant, they've seen me with the two young kids. So feel free, to reach out to them. I believe you have profiles of those that have.
Ah, yes, Miss Dolores.
Yeah, as you said, you're partnering with non-Filipinos as well. So Attorney Christopher Chan is one, but his son is half Filipino, o di ba?
Nice.
How how about that, 'di ba? So mga Mr. Lee Wong as well. Like partnerships do really like matter. And then it is very important that the voices, yung continuation ng voices. And I believe you, Miss Jane and Miss Rita have have strategized for sustaining activities and events that will engage the OFWs.
Yes.
Kasi so many organizations, they start up, big bang. After that, fizzled out.
Yeah.
Then wala nang patutunguhan. But the OFW, I think, is as long as merong OFWs, not only in Georgia, the organization can really be a great resource. As you said, gaano kahalaga yung marunong ka mag-drive. If you could have known before nung sa Pilipinas ka na ganun kahalaga yon, then you could have prioritized to make yourself learn while you are being
Yes.
there, right?
Yes.
So that could be one of the seminars, webinar series for
Mm-hmm.
OFW. Practical tips. Kung nasa Pilipinas ka pa ngayon at nagbabalak kang maging OFW, kahit na hindi ka sa Georgia pupunta, kahit na sa ibang state ka pupunta or ibang bansa ka pupunta, gaano kahalaga na marunong ka mag-drive? I did not
Yes.
drive in the Philippines. Number one, wala kaming car.
Yes.
I'm being driven by, I work in the office of the governor, and then in most of the events that I am part of, the driver of the governor picks me up and
Mm-hmm.
then goes to places, and or yung designated vehicle na ni-reserve namin through the government to pick us up and go for a place. Pero wala akong car. I
Mm-hmm.
tried to learn driving pero hindi rin na-sustain because wala kang sariling car.
Yeah.
So natuto rin ako mag-drive dito na. Kasi sabi ko, I cannot be tied up with the availability ng aking husband.
Yes.
You know? Yung bang hindi ka makaka-move, hindi ka makaka-move. But anyways, that's a very practical good point that you are sharing. My point is that yung as you are all passionate in sharing that day, sustainability is key.
Yeah, I totally agree because
Mm.
I'm gonna share a story about one of the newer friends that I made here in Georgia. So she was from the Philippines, from Manila, and she
Mm.
was a dentist who graduated from CEU. When she
Mm.
moved here, she was looking for a Filipino community, and she joined an organization
Mm.
and paid the dues and then attended the picnic. And then after that, it fizzled out. Like she said, oh, after I paid the membership fee and I went to one picnic, what now? You know, like because the whole point of everybody joining all these Filipino organizations is I want to make friends. I want to learn how to assimilate here in my new environment. And
Mm.
I don't want that to happen with OFW Georgia. I want it to be more sustainable. And also, I want it to be top of mind for people so that we can reach more people and then we can also help more people. And I think that, I mean, I shared this with my friends. I
Mm.
told them, like, when I got tapped into being a co founder, I was like, can you believe it? I am going to be a co founder of something that will outlive me. And it's such a powerful, I think for me, it's such a powerful moment thinking about like, I want to sustain this. I want this organization to be alive. And I want it to help as many overseas Filipino workers in the state.
Yeah, it is very strategic because of the niche. As
Yes.
long as there are Filipinos, overseas workers by category, with
Yes.
respect to visa, there is always this need, and there is always going to be this gap,
Yes.
because so many of the existing organizations, they have their specific na focus na, pero
Yes.
hindi ganito ka 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 closely knit na ito yung pinaka-target.
Yes.
May iba umbrella, very broad, but this
Yes.
one is very specific.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I also inspired to Miss Jane na, although OFWGA, yung registration, but it will also be inclusive, because the stories, the passion, the experiences of OFWs have common threads,
Yes.
have commonality. So other OFWs maybe in other countries that might experience, but they don't have the avenue to learn something, they can learn from the experience of OFWGA.
Yes, and also the internet is a powerful resource. And
Mm.
with us being online, like having our website, having our social media presence, we would be able to reach more people. I mean, we started in Georgia, but that doesn't mean that we stop at Georgia. We
Yes.
can help, yeah, we can help a lot of people who can access all the info. Like even this interview that we're doing right now, it's gonna be reaching a lot of people outside of Georgia, and that is the vision. Of course, we're very early in the facing right now, so I hope that as we move along, we reach and help more people.
Yeah. uh, Having something, do something monthly in it doesn't need to be all everything big.
Yeah.
Simple, very practical. As I'm going to share, like this before the end of this month, we will be having our yung ating event for the OFWGA, of which I'm going to be the resource person, and it
Yes.
is going to be tackling about a specific topic on professional credentials, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
on professional credentials, because there are so many, like you are a project manager. How can I share my experience and my journey in a forum where people can benefit and learn from in a very practical way? So, segue to that one, as we close this part of the topic ng OFWGA, the next event of OFWGA is yung webinar, of which I'm going to share on how to leverage our project management experience, program management experience, to earn yourself a professional global credential. And this is one thing that, can you imagine Miss Jane? She's already stable, high level in her organization,
Mm-hmm.
retired from the Social Security Administration. But I was able to encourage her to take the PMP exam. She nailed it on first attempt.
Oh my gosh. I told you, I think I shared this with you. So I
Mm.
joined the PMI and then I tried
Oh,
applying to take the PMP exam, but
mm.
they rejected me. And I'm like, how can you reject me? I have more than 10 years experience in project management. And these are the things that people would want to learn about, I think. Of course, like you have the experience, or even if you don't, like how can you open that door to the possibilities of these professional credentials, because being a global Filipino, it's you're specialized, but also what are other ways that you can adapt to your new countries, to your new environments? How can you upskill and make yourself a lot more professionally accredited?
Yeah. It demand and stability. That
Yes.
wherever you are, because these credentials is global, they're transferable, they're
Mm.
accepted globally by not only government but all across industries. That's
Yes.
why I say, like, the value of professional credentials to me has more impact in my professional journey now than my academe,
Mm,
than my
yes, I agree.
academia. I am an academic person. I love, really, like, I don't mind, studying is my thing,
Mm,
but you need to have the certification in which it is more valuable, because they are seeing that you can actually get the work done
yes.
because you have the experience of doing it. But don't worry, Christelle, that's why our very first webinar in the OFWGA is this how to leverage your project program management experience and how you can plan in the future to aim these credentials. Now you don't have your PMP, Kristel. If you're gonna really wanted to do it for yourself before the end of the year, you will be PMP certified.
Okay,
Especially
I'm
so that PMI
I'm
is
claiming.
changing. Yeah, PMI is changing the exam of PMP this year because
Mhm.
it's now going to adapt more to the AI, the
Ah,
impact of
yeah.
AI in project management. So as we are evolving, as we are changing, as we are very, very adaptive, the world we have to adjust to world the world is going on right now. And unfortunately, our academic stuff are stuck to the centuries ago style. Like, you graduate, are you really able to transfer those skills that you learned in a real life world, in a real life experience, and what is the demand? There's a need for the academe actually to really wake up and beef up the kind of offerings that they're going to offer for students to be ready for the real world.
Yes.
I graduated in UPLB, and right after I graduated in UPLB, guess what? I managed a provincial wide project. But none of my courses in college was on project management. None. And then we are complaining, why are these projects failing? We did not study on how to really manage project. We just try to do project and project management the way we've been doing. But that's why I said, like, I love being engaged in project. And now that I have all of those credentials, I was able to be more effective and efficient. So Miss Jane and I, so Miss Jane had her PMP, and even if she's already retired, then she also had her exam for Agile Certified Practitioner. And she
Mm.
is off to the program management professional exam. It's just halted because she is prioritizing other things.
Yeah.
But Miss Jane is a living proof that even if I'm able to only influence her for now, there are many that are able to see it. Miss Rita is one. It's just a matter of time for her as well because if you have to really have these exams, you have to focus and you have to have this laser, like you have to shift your mind, not because that you have all of this experience. No, you have to shift your mind on how to pass the exam, because how to pass the exam is different from how you really do the work in real life world, because in real life world there's so many shortcuts. It's not the ideal
Yes.
thing in project management. So don't you worry. I was also denied by PMI when I applied. So we have that
Oh,
commonality. So we will talk about that on May 30.
yes.
That will be like 7 p.m. our time here.
Yes, 7 p.m. EST.
7 p.m. Eastern time zone. That will be 7 a.m. in the Philippines. And I already recruited somebody from my province who had been wanting to do this like 2 years ago. And I told him, now you have to focus because the OFW Georgia is right now going to be my channel so that I could reach out and communicate to the authorized training partner that I was part of an employee before, that I can really vouch this organization helping my friends pass the exam on first attempt. As long as you do it, as long as you have the student mindset and not lean on to your X number of years of project management experience, you have to come back. And Miss Jane knew that by heart. So now, even founding this foundation and everything, lots of brainstorming happens behind. So even though me, I am not in the leadership structure stuff, but I consider myself as consulting, freelance consultant to Miss Jane. We brainstorm behind the scene and stuff,
Yeah.
and then the thing is that she's making it happen. She is making it happen, but I'm happy to contribute in a way that I'm able to share the knowledge and the expertise, and then complementing all of this what needs to be done, and her savviness and her integrity in the community makes these things happen.
Yeah,
And
I
then
think I think I can speak for all the leadership of the foundation that leadership is not really about titles, about
yes.
positions, and we really appreciate you helping us with the advocacy of reaching Filipinos, helping the Filipinos through our own professional skills.
Mhm.
And like you are opening this to give platform to other Filipinos to succeed. So thank you so much.
I'm telling you, Kristel, it's just a matter of time. You will be PMP too. Miss Rita will be PMP too.
Yes.
The three of you, no doubt. Because Miss Rita and I, we talk sometimes in the middle of the night, literally like 12 midnight. And when we start talking, my gosh, when I start talking to Miss Jane, when I start talking to Miss Rita, when I start talking to Miss Menchu, 1 hour is usually not enough. So
Oh
that's
my
how
God.
much we love to just like share knowledge. But we chat on things that matter, and we chat on things that matter for other people,
Yes.
not only for us. And it is just saying, UP, malayo mang lupain, aming marating, di
Yes.
rin magbabago ang damdamin. Is that right?
Yes.
And I think there are so many of us in the film community na PUP graduate, and you can tell the common thread. We are involved, engaged in the civic ways, and we are trying to empower others along the way. And
Yeah, I think also I'd like to share that um when you go to UP, you get to breathe the culture of service when you go to the school.
mm,
And also we're called Escolar ng Bayan. We are literally getting the gift of education from the Filipino people. We got the inexpensive education because the Filipino people helped us. And in a way, I feel like this, I mean, personally, from my experience, it gives me a lot of professional modesty. Like, it gives me the sense that my obligation to serve the community follows me wherever I go. Like, am I in Laguna, in Manila, in Georgia?
have you
And I
been
feel
involved with
that
the
both of
Ugnayan ng
us share that.
Pahinungod? Do you know Ugnayan ng Pahinungod? UP
Yes,
Ugnayan
yes.
ng Pahinungod.
Uh-huh.
I was a UP Ugnayan ng Pahinungod volunteer when I was in college. So that was
Ah,
like way back in 1990, 97, 98, 99, something like that. And
mm,
Iba Sambales and Botolan Sambales, right
mm,
after kind of like, years after the eruption, dun yung aming mga background. But I was an UP Ugnayan ng Pahinungod. I still keep my UP Ugnayan ng Pahinungod pin, but I think I lost the shirt already. So
uh,
as you are alluding to that, and I don't know what organizations you're part of in the Com Arts department, but there are
mhm.
so many organizations in our campus that builds you actually, and you have
Yes,
projects here and
yes.
there and everywhere. So talagang relatable. So sabi ko kay Miss Jane, when I have to meet you the first time, it seems like you are not a stranger to me because we have so many things in common. So when we speak in a common thread of language because that's
Yes.
just that's just the way we are. Hindi ka mahilig ma-adjust, and the passion is not just built now. It has been planted in us as part of our upbringing, but
Mm,
even emboldened when we got to be exposed in our school,
yes.
elementary, high school. Hindi natin inineglect yung mga early years na training natin, ha. But I think our adult life has really molded when we were in college. Kasi
Yes.
'di ba, yung teenager ka to 18, nasa college ka na niyan, right?
Oo.
So, nasa teenager years ka, then nag-transition ka to be an adult bago ka graduate ng college. So, those are very important part nung nung life mo. But anyways, let's move on, Kristel, because I
Sure.
believe that even before you were part of the OFW Georgia Foundation, thanks to you, Miss Rita and Miss Jane, and to everyone that have supported the founding of this organization, I myself, I'm very, very proud that this happened, and I will always support in ways that I can. It's just that I cannot serve in the board because I am already super boarded.
Yeah.
You are also engaged in your own way, trying to give back and doing something. So I wanted you to share now, your involvement with this organization, and then the involvement with your passion of helping others through your story, and how did you get involved with Hands on Atlanta, and what are the other beyond the Phil community organizations that you are engage with, activism here and there. Just get us through with that.
Sure. So before I found the Filipino community, I really, and because I've been volunteering in the Philippines since 2010, I
Mm,
wanted to continue doing the same thing here in Georgia. So
mm,
this picture that's with us right now, it's with the Sandwich Project. I actually found this from TikTok. I was scrolling because it's part of my job
mm,
with digital marketing to be updated with trends. So while I was scrolling TikTok, there was a guy making so many sandwiches. And I think that was the time that there was a big storm in North Carolina.
mm,
And I was wondering, like, what was that about? Like, people were commenting, like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm distributing the sandwiches to the people who need food. And I'm like, oh, that's so smart because it's quick. It doesn't need a lot of refrigeration. So
mm,
I looked into it, like, is there something similar here in Georgia? And I found that the Sandwich Project has a lot of networks of volunteer sandwich makers and drivers in the state. And then they partner with community food banks, with nonprofit organizations to distribute this in a more organized manner. So what I did was, as an excuse also to see my friends, like every first Tuesday of the month, because they make the sandwich making sessions every Tuesday, because Wednesday is when the drop off happens all over the state.
mm,
I told my friends, like, hey, I'm holding sandwich making parties every Tuesday night, so
mm,
I want you to come. And then it just became a thing. Like, it came to a point that my friends were asking me, Crystal, when is the sandwich making party?
mm.
And I'm really happy
So
that
you
they
were
all,
able, in a way, you were able to sustain friendships too,
yes,
for
like
a
it was.
cause, for a good cause.
Yes, yes. It was like hitting two birds with one stone. And then I was also happy to hear, like, one, like the lady holding the sign in this picture,
Mm.
she has hosted sandwich making sessions too. Like it
Wow.
was a ripple effect because they were like, it was enjoyable, it was helping other people and
Mm,
relatively easy to fit in the budget.
mm.
And I was also like, aside from this, I was also helping out with Atlanta Habitat for Humanity. It
Ah.
was for construction, like for a construction volunteer. And then
Mm,
when I found out they needed photographers for turning over the houses that were made, I was like, sure, I'll be your photographer. So that was also one of the early volunteer opportunities that I hopped on here in Georgia, as well as 48 and 48.
yeah.
It's like a hackathon. Like, there are 48 nonprofits that would get their websites, and then all the people volunteering would dedicate one weekend to do it. That's why it's 48 websites in 48 hours.
Yes,
And
because
because of my background in digital marketing, I was always a content manager for
yes, which is very
the,
important skill. Yeah,
yes,
it's so funny you say this. Like, I'm very always fascinated about this, website. I have created so many like subdomains, sub-hosting of domains
yes.
like Weebly.com.
Mm-hmm.
I use Weebly.com a whole lot. I have created so many subdomain Weebly.com, something because it's free.
Yeah.
But when I had the time, Crystal, that's what I did. So for all of the nonprofit organizations that I was part of, I was advocating, but also created a website for them that is not going to expire compared to the ones that are paid. The ones that I paid, like from GoDaddy.com and stuff, you have to maintain it just to have the main domain, that the .com, that .net. But that is so much. But if you are just doing the subdomain, which is like, the .weebly.com or dot whatever it is, it's still useful. And then blogging, because
Yes.
documenting the things that you do is very important. It's not
Yes.
about to brag, but it is really about documenting that life, that part of life. Look, you've been away from campus for how many years? It's just not easy for us to go back to UPLB that easily.
Yes.
But you know one thing? If you're able to go back to your photos in your college and you remember what you did with who you ever you did it, friends and or whatsoever, there was like that sense of, wow, I did that. And I have a proof that I did that.
Yeah.
So,
And I think,
mhm,
oh, sorry. I was just gonna say that bragging is different than having visibility. I
yes.
think leaders should have visibility so the people who need them will find them. It's not really about you telling other people like, oh, I'm better than you, but it is a vehicle for you to reach the people you want to help. And I hope more immigrants, more Filipinos veer away from that shyness of being more visible.
Exactly. And so you are into SEOs and everything like that.
Yes.
These are still all like the things because on my end, I am more of a strategist, but I am not a creative artist. I always envy people who are creatives, like, designing, graphic design, and all of these nice kinds of things. Me, I'm very much not into that, but I am on the strategy side. I am on the strategic side and implementing side, but this artistry part merged with technical know-how is really going to be amazing. If you're able to really master these two, you are unbeatable. And I think that is a niche and a skill that you have, because it is not something that you just have to learn overnight.
Yes.
You have to really learn and master this kind of skill in order to flourish into that. And so shifting towards that, you are part also of Hands on Atlanta. I've
Yes.
read only about that organization, and I'm just so happy for the representation that you have done, because it is a highly notable organization with
Yes.
very great reputation and stuff, and also I think competitive. You cannot just like get in just because you wanted to, the
Yes.
qualifications and all of this kind of things, because it's an initiative, right?
Yes.
So tell us more about, when did you start and to be part of the Hands on Atlanta? What made you there? Have you explored it by yourself, or were you introduced by someone? Who were the bridges that made it happen? And what was your recent award?
Sure. So I actually didn't know anybody from Hands on Atlanta. I found out about them because when I moved to Georgia, I Googled where to volunteer in Georgia or where to volunteer in Atlanta. And they were one of the websites who came on top. And
Mm,
so in a way, I had this brand awareness of Hands on Atlanta. But as I was moving toward my career trajectory here in Georgia, and like you get to a point that, oh, I want to level up, like I want to learn more. So there was a point in time in 2025 that I said I want to be in leadership programs. Like I need to be more skilled with how to lead people so we can get to the better cause together. And when I was researching leadership programs in the state, the Hands on Atlanta Civic Leadership Program was one of the top ones. And I really was at the point that I shouldn't, like, I was always behind the scenes, but I wasn't really a spokesperson. I didn't really give speeches, but I said I need to push myself because how would you lead and how would you reach the people you want to help if you're just gonna keep hiding?
yeah.
And and I reached out to them. So I found them around, I think, March of 2025, and then I emailed them. I said, "Hi, I'm interested in applying for the civic leadership program. Like, what are the steps?" And then they said, "Oh, actually, the applications open in June. And after you give in your applications, you have a video interview, you have an in-person interview, and you have a background check."
Mhm.
So they really vet the people that get in this
Yeah.
program. And thankfully I got in, and I am also the only Asian and the only immigrant in the cohort. There were 26 of us, so in a way, I was also thinking, and then also the people in my cohort are heavy hitters. Like these are people who were already board members,
Mhm.
general managers of Delta, like very accomplished people.
Mhm.
And this was my first time being exposed to something this high level. But throughout the program, like they really gave us both the exposure to the leadership topics that we could learn from, like board service. And then they also partnered us with schools and nonprofits so we can have hands-on experience with how to work together with these organizations. And the pictures that you're seeing is from our graduation last
Mhm.
April. And I am so grateful that they chose me as one of the speakers because I shared with the program leaders that Miss
Mhm.
Jane found me because of this civic leadership fellowship.
Mhm.
And it was really a big moment that I wanted to share with them. And this is something that I also shared with the audience at the graduation,
Mhm.
that this is building connections through cultures and oceans, because one of the things that came out of this is hands-on Atlanta is part of the Points of Light global network, which is connected to hands-on Manila. And
Mm.
I mentioned that I'm going home next year, and I'm meeting with the VP of hands-on Manila, and then we are gonna talk about like how can we work together, how can we help you out, how can you bridge resources so we can be collaborating on some projects. I'm really thankful for this program. And now that the program is over with Hands on Atlanta, of course I'm still gonna volunteer with them on like a more volunteer basis, like not very high level, because I would be focusing on OFW Georgia.
Yeah. Awesome. Perfectly. The thing is that you seek it for yourself, Kristel.
Yes.
You you took the step because you are curious and you find the need, but there's also the drive and the passion because you
Yes.
wanted to make a meaningful and impactful contribution to the community. And that
Yes.
is really like great. Here in Cobb County, we have the Cobb 101 Academy, Citizens Academy, that is more on the government. And I also like joined on that one. I don't know if I think Gwinnett, you're in Gwinnett, right?
I'm in DeKalb.
DeKalb County. So there's some leadership program that is like different counties have it,
Yes.
and or the chamber like
Yes.
leadership Cobb. That is like the Cobb chamber. But we
Mhm.
have Cobb 101 Academy, the Citizens Academy. So because you are into these kinds of organizations, this is like in Atlanta, but in DeKalb, you can really like explore more for that. So let's shift onto this one. This is the technique, the techie part of yours. And I just wanted to share to everyone that you are actually a co-authored Cyberpreneur in the Philippines. Can you share more about this? So how are you bridging your Philippines experience and now go to the US version without losing yourself and your passion?
Sure. So the book that you mentioned, Cyberpreneur Philippines, it
Mm,
was published in 2015. And
mm,
this was at the height when Filipinos were starting to be online shop owners. Like this was at the height of sulit.com.ph. Oh my gosh, I'm revealing my age. Like very the entrepreneurial spirit was emerging that time. And our editor was asking people with expertise in digital marketing to help out these people, like these entrepreneurs. And also, aside from that, I was also sharing some articles with the Manila Times. After being part of a personal finance comparison website in the Philippines, we were
mm,
sharing tips on how people can manage their money better. And like these two examples really thread the storytelling part of my career, because throughout my career, I've done digital marketing, especially in content marketing. And when I moved to the US, I really wanted to capture my Filipino identity while still engaging in the corporate network. And whenever I join any organizations, whenever I do any leadership programs, I proudly say that I'm Filipino. Like in one of the screenshot that you sent, that you showed, I said in my Hands on Atlanta program bio that I am a Filipino immigrant at a time that it's really not the best to communicate that. And also, like the slide that you showed in this webinar earlier, that was a career talk in KIP Atlanta Elementary School. I've been doing this career talk to fifth graders for, yeah, this one.
mm,
So yeah, that's why there's lockers and stuff. So I've been doing career day talks with fifth graders at KIP Atlanta School for 3 years now, since
mm,
2023. And then like in that slide, it shows that I'm from the University of the Philippines. And of course, this exposes the kids to more diversity because they're like, oh, like sometimes they would hear my accent a little bit and they're like, oh, where are you from? Like, oh,
Mm,
what is that? What is the University of the Philippines? And
mm,
I feel like owning this part of my identity is a service also to the audience that I'm talking to about the skills, the marketing skills, the marketing career that they can get.
mm,
And I think that personally, when I first moved to the US and I couldn't get a marketing job, I thought to myself, should I sound more American? Because when you move to the US, the accent is really
Ang
thick.
tagal-tagal mo na
And
sa
you're
US,
like,
bakit hindi
and
ka
then you're going,
nagsislang?
yeah, and then you're going to the interviews and nandun yung punto. may punto pa rin pag nag-i-English. And I was thinking to myself, am I not getting the marketing jobs because I have this accent? And I really wanted to assimilate, but a little voice in me said, no, I have to own who I am. And I
Mm,
have to show people that I don't have to change myself so that I can fit in these marketing jobs that are
mm,
trying to change me. So if they don't accept me from based on my own expertise and they are not accepting me because of my identity, then this is not the right job, you know. There are
yeah.
a lot, like this is the land of opportunity. There are a lot of organizations that embrace diversity, that embrace inclusivity,
And
and
you
I
are in
want
the,
to
I think
show that.
you are also in the best state because of
Yes,
the rich history of Georgia, especially in metropolitan Atlanta. The diversity and inclusion is huge thing here.
yes,
And this is the civil rights movement,
yes,
birthplace of the civil rights movement of the world. And
yeah,
you are engaged with people whose diverse backgrounds are really, really like inspiring. So
yes.
these are young kids. These are
Yeah,
very
these are young kids that I think they've never met a Filipino before, quite honestly. And they're like,
yeah.
oh, you're so cool, like you're so fun. And it really warms my heart because
Um,
this gives the kids a new reality. Like, you know, there's a lot more people out there. There's a lot of
yeah.
more people to meet and we're just all the same.
So what I just grabbed this from your posting. What are
Ah,
these
sure.
groups of photos like here with this diverse groups and then before that one. These are like I grabbed these photos. I don't know what engagement
Oh,
you're part
so
of.
yeah, so the last one, yeah, this one are the other speakers from the career day. Like these are doctors, lawyers, FBI
Ah,
agents. Like we come from such a diverse career
yes,
background and we were assigned to different grade levels.
yeah.
So yeah, if you look closely, these people are all from different
Different.
professions.
Yeah. For my case, I was able to do this career day thing for my kids' school. So I
Ah,
focus on project management. And then I have to build something, a little project, and I have to relate it like the project that you do in your classroom, the artwork that you do.
yes.
Um, Establishing these concepts of project management within the level of what they're actually doing. So actually, my son, he can speak the concept of risk and risk
Oh, wow.
management even when he was in the elementary because he
That's
loves
good.
to build stuff. And so I interject how I introduce the concept of project and project management in the things that he does. He builds Lego. He builds this thing. I told him this is a project. If you're gonna create something, that's a project. You have a specific time and stuff, and he knows the risks. So
Yes.
in a way, there's a creative way of conveying very highly technical concepts in such a way that young kids can understand them,
Yes.
right? And this photo, I'm very curious. What is this? Like, is this at a school or you can
So
say United Way?
yeah, so actually, this is the recent cohort of new American leaders ready to
Mm.
lead AAPI program. And the reason
Oh,
why I got in here is there was one time I opened LinkedIn and the program manager messaged me. She's like, "Hey, are you interested in becoming a politician? If you are, like, sign up for this program." And I'm like, "How did she find me?" And I was just starting to gain visibility in the AAPI community here in Georgia specifically. And her message mentioned that this is a program for everyone in the country. And I'm like, out of curiosity, just like with the civic leadership program, I'm like, what do I have to lose? This is another possibility. So I said yes. I applied. I don't think they accept everyone that applies. So I applied, and then this is the cohort that formed. We were training in GSU at the Loudermill Conference Center in March, the last week of March. And these people are from all over the country, very accomplished people, and very much civically engaged in their own states. And I found out at the end, so Representative Marvin Lim was one of the panelists at the end.
Mm.
And when I mean, I've gotten to know him, and I was like, Representative Lim, thank you so much for being here, being a
Mm.
familiar face. And he's like, oh, you're here. I gave them your name. You're the only one who showed up with all the names I gave. And I'm like, oh my God, he nominated me in the program. That's why I was so shocked, because of course he's so busy
Yeah,
with election time. And
yeah.
I
I know
and
this
I
one
said,
because I know this is a very great initiative, and there's so many of them, Christelle. Actually, it's just a matter of time, and because also it would also take your time and resource, you know.
yes,
So I think what works best is that when you have the time to do things, get them done. Because
yeah.
now, when you are tied up with work and full time, and then your time is stretched, it's hard to do other things that you are very passionate about. So I think this is one thing of when you are transitioning as an immigrant and you have a whole lot of time, volunteering with great organizations that have really a track record of lifting up their volunteers is a big way of you know um, trying to learn skills, get to know people, contribute to the society, and be happy with what you're doing.
Yeah, I really treat this as a privilege, because a
Mhm.
lot of the OFWs I know, they work two jobs, three jobs. And for us to have this luxury of time to volunteer, to take on these leadership programs, I don't take it lightly.
Exactly, exactly. So let's shift on that one. And recently, you were part of the Georgia Asian Times Summit,
Ah, yes.
AAPI Summit, and it's like usually highlighting like leaders, and you're one of the speakers, I believe. Can you share
Yes.
us more about that experience?
Sure. So, when Mr. Lee Wong invited me to be a panelist, I was actually really scared because I've never done this before. Like this is like, as you can see, this is a pattern with me. Like I just go for stuff. Mr. Lee Wong was like, Crystal, do you want to be a panelist at the AAPI summit? And I'm like, I looked up the previous AAPI summits, and everyone were like consul generals, representatives at the house, very accomplished professionals. But I was like, there is a seat for me here. So I will say yes. Mr. Lee Wong would not invite me if I wasn't really credible enough to talk on the topic. And our topic was about how AI can help small businesses be more efficient. And it was such a reality for me, because in digital marketing, that is one of the technologies that are emerging that is affecting how we work. And I deal with it on a daily basis. So I was sharing with the audience, how can they use it? And it's not, oh, just use all of it all at once, because there's so many tools that
Mhm.
you read about, so many things happening every day.
Every
And
day.
it's very overwhelming. And we were like, the other speaker here is Robbie Parks, and we were just sharing with them that you shouldn't overwhelm yourself, and you should try to use the tools on things that are not in public. Because I think the fear, one of the reasons why people fear it, is because the results would be in public, and they were like, oh, I didn't do a good job, it did the wrong thing. But we were trying to tell them, these are the tools that are easier to learn, and then these are the topics or the tasks where you can do it first in private, so you gain more confidence. Once you gain more confidence, that's when you go and do more things that would be more public facing for your business. And those are just some points that we talked about in the summit.
Yeah. Well, I'm very, yeah, I've attended that summit. I'm supposedly going to be here but I have a schoolwork deadline. I really wanted to be here and to support because as a small business owner, this is the Mr. Lee Wong has opened this kind of avenue for people like us to have this forum and to share. Last time that I attended, I became an instant resource person too for the thing. So, you just have to be open. You just have to
Yeah.
really be receptive. And if you are confident in talking about a particular topic, then why not?
Yes.
And I also have to credit Miss Jane for that one. So me and Miss Jane, we are like whatever opportunities, and I know that I could not. I share it to her, and I asked her, Miss Jane, share it as well, because
Yes.
that's the way we could. You don't hoard knowledge and or
Yes.
information, then you give it to others. Well, speaking of Georgia Asian Times, ladies and gentlemen, I was just not able to find the did not have the time last night to
It's
go to
okay.
the Georgia Asian Times Facebook page and grab the photo because I have to ask permission for that.
Yes.
Kristel is one of Georgia Asian Times most influential Asian American Pacific Islander. So this is the publisher, Mr. Lee Wong, and he founded the Georgia Asian Times. So Kristel is one of the Filipinos that will be honored on July 10th for the Georgia Asian Times 25 most influential AAPI. Miss Jane did it twice. I got to be one of the awardees in 2023. So you will be one. So that is a whole lot of us things in common. I value that the thing because at that time I'm the only Filipino.
Wow.
2023 I was the only Filipino, and uh, my volunteer engagements again were the ones that were up front. So just like you, Crystal, you find ways to do things. And to me, the nonprofit engagements, the volunteerisms were the ones that got me the avenue to share my skills, my talents pro bono. But what it does is that people will get to know you. People will get to know that you can do things. I have applied to so many jobs before. I think the AI tool, the screening tool, did not even make me pass.
Yes.
But when you get to know people and they get to know you, that's where I got my break with respect to work. I was called. I did not reach out to apply. I was called and offered for a specific position because they saw what you're doing in the community. And I believe that is what's happening in your network, that you get to know more people now. Now they get to know to find for talents, and then you have that specific talent. It's just so easy because right now so many people, so many HR recruiters are also having a hard time finding the right people because the papers, you can trick the papers to be sounding good, looking good, it's like highfalutin, but in reality they don't know how to do the work.
Yes.
They don't know how to do the work. That's where certifications are coming in, because in the certifications you have to apply, you have to qualify, you have to be vetted before you can even take the exam. So it is not just something that you wanted to put nice in your resume and people will believe in it.
Yes.
Certification is the thing. Certification is, the thing that could open up so many opportunities for you. Your
Yes.
track record, your awards and stuff, they are a manifestation of you. They don't replace you and your personality. They are the manifestation of things that you can actually do and offer to the community. So, Christelle, as we are winding up for this one, what would be your advice, especially for Filipino Americans that are wanting to immigrate to another country, either to live and or to work? From your experience, what would that be, and how they can leverage their own identity, as you have stressed, their own brand, their own personality to thrive, not just exist, but thrive.
I think the first thing I'll acknowledge to anyone who wants to move to the US or who just recently moved to the US is, I know it's hard. It's something that when you're in the Philippines and you see OFWs, you think like, oh, they're at the better, greener pastures now. But really, moving to another country is very challenging. But that doesn't diminish the history, the work that you've done in the Philippines, the universities that you went to, the learnings that you got. These are the things that make you very competitive globally. And when you move specifically to the US, like with my own experience, these are the things that you need to embrace. You
Mhm.
shouldn't wipe out your Filipino identity just to assimilate. In fact, it gives you more breadth, more depth,
Mhm.
and it gives you more experiences that you can share with other Filipinos and other AAPIs wherever you move in the US. And also with work ethic, we all know that Filipinos are very hard workers. And here in the US, you can really make it as long as you're willing to put in the work. And I think that that is one thing that's very transferable with our culture when you move here. And this is something that will be a little secret weapon when you get into the workforce. And
Yeah.
also, always keep the spirit of bayanihan. If you are feeling alone when you move to another state or even here in Georgia, don't be afraid to reach out if you find other Filipinos, even at the grocery store. Don't be afraid to talk to them because, as you know, Filipinos want to help each other. Filipinos are always together wherever we move. We are always within one thread of our culture and we win as one. So, yeah, good luck to everyone who wants to move
And
here
yeah,
or already moved here to the
yeah,
US.
and Christelle, they can build relationships even if they're still in the Philippines.
Yes.
You know, just like if you are an OFW right now and you wanted to learn more about how to thrive as an OFW, not just in the USA but in other countries, the OFWGA, I think the resources that can be shared is common for the experience of all. So don't establish connections and or network when you are here. You can do the preparations even when you are in the Philippines, right?
Yes.
There's so many Facebook groups that you can be part of right now because you can never tell. If you are really decided to get out of a country, you can do it. Me, after college, I just wanted to go back to my home region because I am required for my scholarship grant to go back to my home region. But
Yeah.
I really, as it's like, once I'm done with this one, I really wanted to go outside because
Mm.
I wanted to explore life outside the country. I wanted to build my own family outside of the Philippines. Not that I don't love the Philippines, but it's because there's this longing of how will my children look like? How will my life will be if I am away from home? How is it going to be living in Atlanta? Oh, this is a very historic because 1996 was the Olympics here in Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
That was my first year college in UPLB. So we were in the lobby of the Women's Residence Hall, and we were watching the Olympic Games, Centennial Olympic Games. And I just thought to myself, what it is to live life in Atlanta. And guess what? Yesterday, May 21, 2026, I am 20 years of living here in Atlanta. Same address, same city. Lots of things have really have happened. And just like the trajectory of what Christelle did, I also was similar like her. I reached out. I did not wait to be reached out. I myself took the initiative to reach out because I know that I can do something. And I started being as a volunteer. I was able to leverage and use my skills to volunteer. So just like what Christelle is doing right now, if you are passionate to be in your community, you can get it done. But you have to love what you're doing. You have to love what you're doing, and you're not just doing this for out of the blue. You have to really know why you're doing it and how are you contributing, for yourself, for your community, and for everyone around you. But anyways, Christelle, one last message if you could give to our global Filipino community watching today, what would that be? One message that you wanted to share, an overall Kristel Silang message.
I think for all the global Filipinos who will watch this, I want you to remember that we are one people across the world. A lot of people who meet Filipinos are always so happy that you are so friendly, you are so hospitable, and I am really proud that I am one of us. And I hope that anyone who meets you will be also in pride of meeting a Filipino, of being connected to a Filipino. And I hope you keep embracing the Filipino identity.
Maraming salamat talaga, Kristel. This is such a heartwarming an interview, that your leadership in action is visible. It is manifesting in ways that you are doing, and I can only wish you more successes.
Thank
As you
you.
have
Thank you.
noticed that when you were looking at me, and I did not earn those credentials just overnight, Christelle. It's and I believe that there's no letters that will not fit after your name only if you aim them. Number
Oh
one,
my gosh.
you have to really want it for yourself because it is for you. Just like how you have uh, passed and succeeded college, you did it
Yes.
with the support of everyone with you, but you are the one taking the exam. You're the one that's facing the professor. You're the one that making all sure that all of the required things for that course is are met so that you can pass and move on to another one. Similar to that. So Kristel Silang, next year I'll be interviewing you maybe with all of the whatever letters that you aspire after your name. And I'm just so proud for you as a fellow Iska, for showing others that you can do this. There was struggle at first in life. The navigation has brought you in so many directions, but you were focused, you were grounded on who you are as a person, and that you did some things to reach out and be of help. And in a way, you did not expect 100 folds that it's blessing you.
Yes.
Right.
I feel very fortunate, and also I feel very thankful that I'm even talking to you right now. You know, you are a great mentor to the Filipino community here in Georgia. And the OFW Georgia board is really appreciative of all the help that you're giving us. Thank you so much.
You're very much welcome. I said, like, I am part of the organization by heart, and then
Yes.
we know how we can play a role to impact and not necessarily be at the front core, and that's
Yes.
mostly how I operate. Me and Miss Jane, we've come a long way, ups and downs and everything like that, but you cannot be a blessing maybe to everyone. You can be a blessing to one person, but that one person has a whole lot of people under there. And
Yes.
that is how I try to also like share. So yes, I do a mentor for so many people, and it is not all about the money. What makes you happy? At the end of the day, what makes you happy, Crystal? When you sleep after all of the chaos of the day and everything, what makes you happy? So with
Yes.
that, we're gonna end up with that one. For everyone that's inspired by the story of Christelle, maraming salamat po, and hope you will be able to share this video. Feel free to reach out to Christelle. Feel free to reach out to me if you would also wanted to share your leadership experience and your journey, because what we're trying to do here is not the famous people. We're
Yes.
trying to look for people who are really doing the work in the community. So maraming maraming salamat po.